Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to Colquhoun Conquers in another episode of Clanfolk as we are here at the start of year 5 of all things. And, you know, we managed to make our way through yet another okay winter. It certainly hasn't been too bad, let's put it that way. You know, we can't be too unhappy with how things have gone. We've still got plenty of days of food. We've managed to nearly get this other building up. We've obviously managed to get the other buildings up as well in the previous parts of the year, which has been very, very good. So, overall, I can say we're quite happy with how things are progressing. The fact as well that we got our kiln kind of going, we're getting our nice bits of food together, although, to be fair, I think we might struggle to get it just because the bread. We don't make that much bread. We don't really make oat flour. I mean, maybe we sort of say, hey, we want to have at least maybe like 50 oat flour. That means we're always going to have a little bit of oat flour about. It can just get quite expensive in terms of, you know, going through your oats. Especially because we are now in spring, which means we now have to think about growing. So certainly we want to grow us some oats. We're going to want to get some grass as well. And we're currently kind of blending these areas in here. We've got to kind of think how we want to kind of, you know, expand that. Potentially even we want to do something really nice, like have the grass around the outside of the oats, you know, just have a bit of a hedgerows and stuff like that. And maybe even, do we do that same with that? No, we'll just leave that full grass, have a little bit of oats. We'll maybe have a couple of oats here just to expand that out, and then we'll probably do some extra stuff there as well. Want to get some reeds too. It's going to be a heavy growing episode, I reckoned, and this one, if I was a guesser. We've also got Watt, the trader here. What do you have? Again, not a joke, not trying, but yeah, we'll get some of your peat. We'll always buy nails. Nails are good. We'll get some clean wool. We'll even buy your onions. Because why not? Why not, Watt? And we'll sell some baskets just to keep the money situation up, because we have plenty of sticks. And not only that, but we're through winter, so we don't really have to worry about it so much, because things are starting to heat up quite nicely. Still have a little bit of stuff cooling inside the rooms, which is also quite nice. Let's try and see if we can move this wool and such out of the way. That'd be good, as well as those onions. Thank you very much. Yeah, we just want to make sure that we have more than enough clean wool just ready for us to spin up so we can use it for the tailoring. I will say that all of these farm actions are going to be highest priority they can be. We need to get these things done as soon as possible, just purely because, you know, it's going to take a wee bit of time to do that. How are we doing for hoes, by the way? I feel like we could do with like some more tools, like for our basic kind of tools. Like, you know, more hoes, more spades. In fact, potentially even more than that, because hoeing is very important. So let's, you know, let's get that together and get that working. I think that'll be pretty good. Yeah, loving that, loving that. Look at that, everything's getting done. So we're going to want to get as well, obviously get some onions, and we're going to get some neeps, and probably some kale, and then probably some beans as well. We're going to need some flax. We've already got our oats up over there, but we are going to want our flax too, so we'll have a little bit of flax. And you know what, let's do another line of oats. Oats are most important because that obviously keeps our people alive. It's a good food source. We can have a little look as well and see how we're doing for seeds. We do have some hay seeds. I wonder if we need to actually almost make another area for purely growing hay that we can keep segregated from the animals so that they can't get access to. Also, I was wanting to plant some more hay over here for Mr. Clucker 2 and his replacement, Mr. Clucker the 3rd, who hasn't been named that yet, but we all know that's coming. So yes, the sooner we can do that, the better. And that'll be good. Sorry, I have to move my cat very quickly, because she's being a menace. There we go, that's better. Yes, it's starting to get a little bit colder through here, so at all times she's trying to sit either on my PC or on my laptop, and because of that, she is always at risk of turning it off, which obviously isn't ideal. That's not exactly what you want to happen, especially when you're recording. If you're in the middle of recording and she turns your computer off, which has happened in the past, it's not exactly ideal. We'll put it that way. But yes, overall, things looking much better. Now that we've finally got out of the snow, we're able to move so much faster. It should mean that we're getting so much more stuff done. We do have an awful lot of tasks to do, admittedly. We've got a lot of harvesting tasks to do, and I am actually going to bump these up in priority again, because I'm not happy with the fact that people aren't getting these done. If we can get things planted, specifically our food sources planted for this first day, then that means they'll be able to grow pretty much for the entirety of this. We don't actually have that much flaxseed left as well, which is surprising. I guess we've probably used a little bit of it feeding some of the animals, of which as well we will... Are we going to turn off the grain trough now, or are we going to leave it for a little bit? We might leave it for just a wee bit. It will allow for hay seeds as well. Because it does seem like we're out of flax. So, we're going to need to find a different source for that. But it looks like we've managed to plant the majority of the reeds. So, that's good. And people can kind of just work around here. There we go. Excellent. Take these off high priority. And we can always worry about them later on. That's good. At least we managed to get all the planting done the first day. Means that we're definitely going to have at least one successful harvest, because it's growing now, so that's the main thing. Do we want to potentially get more composters? You know, we got an awful lot of dung. We do seem to have an awful lot of dung. I mean, it's probably because of all these animals that we have. Isn't really helping matters, to be completely honest. I mean, that's another option we can do, is we can almost have like a little grass field out the back here, but this is where we planted those berries, so I don't think that's the best idea. Sibylla. Yeah, you know what? You can come in and we'll rent you out this bed. There we go. And then what? You haven't quite arrived yet, but we might just give you a bed in the communal bedrooms. You won't be the most satisfied, but we won't have the negative for people being cold, unlike the other times. So I think it should be okay. And yeah, do we give this to something else? Let's have a wee look. Potentially we have a wee look and see if we give this to one of the other peoples, potentially. I mean, Alan, where's your bed? It's the one down here. I mean, this is a much nicer room and you are the leader. Maybe not ideal, but we will give you that bed there, and then make sure that other people have a bed when and if they need it. Potentially even going to say what can stay there, but he's actually got a private room after all, because nobody's currently inside this other room, which is good. I don't like the fact this wool is currently being left out in the rain. That is a little bit annoying. You know, it's the spring rains after all. It's going to take absolutely ages for it to be done. But yeah, the fact that Sibylla and Watt are both getting high amounts of satisfaction just due to the fact they have their lovely private rooms is very good. And yeah, overall, things not being too bad. Especially seeing as all the rooms appear to be very well heated. Speaking of heat, we're going to need to make sure we get plenty of peat, because as we saw from the last episode, we did actually run out of peat. And that's even without building and thatch, and we had 2 full peat stacks of dried peat. I thought we were going to be absolutely fine for the winter, but obviously not. We might even get to the point where we have to have a peat stack for every single house, just to make sure that we definitely have enough to heat the entirety of the way. But another day, lovely spring, temperature is climbing. It's always very nice. I mean, it's climbing above freezing. I mean, with the wind chill, it's not quite above freezing, but at least the actual temperature itself is above freezing. And yeah, we're actually getting some really nice satisfaction. I mean, in here is stinky, and it's because, well, we need to move these linen shirts, because this poo is currently sitting in the main room. There we go. That should definitely help you a little bit more. Yeah, we could potentially do with like somebody new coming in, so we might unfurl the job board and see if we can maybe get someone coming in who's good at hauling. Who's that? Lachlan? You're not really what we're looking for. We want someone who's good at hauling. Neither of you are particularly good at hauling, and you're quite expensive, so we're actually going to say Lachlan and Paul, you're both going to go. That's fine. Mary, what do you have for us? Berries. Lovely. Some dry hide, which we actually don't have that much of, so we'll grab that. Could get some mushrooms, could get some branches, they're nice and cheap. We'll buy the branches, we'll give you the baskets, we want the reputation. There you go, thank you very much. And then Charles of Anderson, do you have anything good for us? Bread is good. Oat flour is good. You know what? I'll grab some hay, I'll grab some oat sheaf. All of that is really, really nice. We do need some kittens, but we don't have any at the moment. What we will do, and I know we're in the growing area, but we have plenty of fertilizer. I think we'll just give you some of that for now, because we have all this gong to make fertilizer with, so I think we're actually okay for now. We're out of wooden logs of all things. That's surprising. That's kind of come around. Let's chop down some trees to make sure we can get some logs back, please, if we could. You can actually see the amount of deforestation that we've done just kind of around our sort of area here. I mean, this pretty much all used to be trees, and in fact, if you look at the amount of trees on the map, they are beginning to dwindle ever so slightly. So we will definitely, I know we replanted some trees up here, but we kind of cut them down again, so maybe we need to spend some time, you know, planting some trees again. Potentially even do like some rows over here. Although this is quite a nice kind of grass area, this almost could be like a good like natural grass field to keep the animals fed. Something to think about. Yeah, I could really do with somebody else coming in. We have a lot of hauling jobs to do. There's a lot of stuff, more stuff being like left outside at the moment, which I'm not plussed with. So I would prefer it if we could, you know, get somebody around to help out with that. Look at all this butter that's just sitting out. Come on, guys, let's start cleaning up after ourselves. That'd be grand. To the point where I'm almost wondering if we maybe put on auto haul here for the kitchen. It's like, sure, they're gonna, you know, cook a bit slower. But it's probably better for the cooks to, like, you know, not cook quite as much, but to make sure that's actually being stored properly, rather than, you know, just leaving it out and making more food. Because it's like, sure, we might have more food, but more of it's going to waste. So, I mean, we can even do it on this brick making table, because it is kind of silly that we are leaving all of this stuff just out in the open, because it's not going to do anything when it's out in the open. We might as well use the auto haul function, because that basically what that means is the crafter will make the items, and then they'll automatically take it to a relevant storage place in order to store it there. So Catherine's now going to do that. She's going to pop that there, and then she's going to go off to do something else. It does mean that you don't have as much, you know, like constant production, because the person isn't just sitting there like producing one thing and then producing another thing and then producing another thing, and you can use it for, say, like your fireplaces, and or sorry, not your fireplaces, but say like your meat smokers and stuff like that. Because it takes time for it to do. If it's something that happens over time, like say the smoking or, you know, your bark washes, you can't get them to do that there. But having them doing it for things where they have to make the stuff, and they'll stay there until it's done is better. Otherwise, you have the, areas like this where we have the improved thresher, where it's like, you know, we're making hayseed, the seeds come into the grain pallet, you know, any straw comes into the straw pile, and Anne can just pick up the stuff from nearby and she can just work away until it's done. Part of me almost wonders if we want to make like a nice like firelight kind of bit over here, like maybe like a torch, just to kind of, you know, light this place up, but then again, maybe it's not entirely needed. A lot of tile being used. I mean, I guess this is the thing, it's like obviously we have these brick wall, or brick floors, sorry, but they're not quite as good as the fancy tile floors. Now we could change things over to the brick bridge rather than, but the stone bridge is actually nicer, which is good, so we'll just keep the stone bridge. There's no point using the brick bridge if the stone bridge looks nicer, although the bricks are they are faster, so that is something to keep in mind as well. There we go, chopping down the trees. Good, good. Look at all the little blossom. Lovely jubbly. Does remind me when we went to Japan. Got to see the nice little the blossom there. That was pretty nice. Cannot complain. All the sakuras and that. That has nothing to do with this. I don't know why that came into my head, but it's because we're talking about blossom. Yeah, that'll probably be it. So we do now. I think we can actually have all of these people in. We're doing absolutely fine for food. So we have one person staying down in this straw bed. We have somebody staying in the double, somebody staying in this room over here, and I think that'll be pretty good. So Amelia, yeah, you come in, you can get this one. Archibald, you know what, you can stay in here. And Marjorie, you can come over here and stay over there. There we go. Lovely jubbly. And that means as well that we're doing okay for food, because it's like obviously things aren't rotting at the moment. We are having hopefully not too much of an issue with our flocks. I mean, obviously we do have an awful lot of animals at the moment. I am very tempted to get rid of these goats now that we do have Mrs. Moo and Mr. Moo and secondary Moo, or secondary Mrs., I guess. Just because it means there will be less animals we have to feed over the winter. Although having this much milk is good, because we do need the milk for the rations. So, you know, between the bread that we need to make, the dough, etc., you know, it's quite good to just have all of this together. Yeah, we could make some nice fish stew, which would make our experience go up. We can see. Marjorie, pretty satisfied, that's good. Archibald, he's pretty satisfied as well, although, who's that? Margaret. Margaret's actually come over here and slept in this room here. I guess she didn't sleep in her other bed like she usually does. That's okay. Well, Archibald will just be a little bit less satisfied. You can see there because he keeps getting disturbed. That's all right. No, we can get around that. Kenneth, how are you? You are nearly grown up, which is good. And Marie is not quite grown up yet. But that's all right. It's just more to sort of see what's happening there. One thing we could do as well, now that we kind of got the planting done, or majority of the planting done, I wonder if we may want to start sending people out into the world, seeing where we can go for these steel techniques. Now, out of all the people of where to go, it seems to be either McFarlane or Pringle is the one that takes us less time to get there. So I wonder if we maybe send somebody down, let's say Duncan, for example. We'll start sending him down there to just scout out a wee bit more of this map and see if we can learn ourselves the riddle of steel at some point, though we do need an awful lot more coin in order to learn that as we come into another day of spring. Probably the best time for it to kind of happen, you know, like we're going to want to get extra hands anyway, just to help us out with all, say, like the hauling and such. So there's nothing particularly wrong with sending some people out to just, you know, do a little bit of scouting, open up the map a bit. I think we've got the majority of the skills that we can learn so far, now that we've got the good cooking, we've got the clay stuff. Once we can get the steel, that's going to be another sort of notch on our belt. And to be honest, once we get steel making, we'll probably make steel tools. We'll just kind of expand out. We'll see where we are at that point. Obviously, there's a new update on the horizon at some point. We don't know when it's coming out. Part of me wants to say Christmas, but I don't know. I'm not going to put words in the developer's mouth. That's just kind of my feeling at the moment. Will, how are you at hauling? You are not good. No, we're going to get you to leave. I'm sorry. You're just not very good. If you were better, I would keep you, but you're not. So, sucks to be you. Yeah, potentially we might want to get rid of these meat racks and replace that with another pantry, but we'll have to move things about in order to do that. Or we just move these jug pallets. It's nice to have all this meat because obviously we do make a lot of meat. Yeah, potentially even get rid of these bowl stands. Yeah, let's get rid of these bowl stands because there's like we're keeping these like basic bowls there anyway, and we can move, say, this. I don't know. Let's double check because we have to look at the actual storage. Where is it? Pantry shelves. Pantry shelves always the last place you look, so that we can't do that one. Let's get rid of that one. But instead we'll do this one for now, and we'll do that nice high priority. Thank you very much. There we go. And then let's get ourselves our pantry shelves and stick them in here. Good. It's gonna be a little while before we can do that, but at least that will mean that we have more storage in this area here. And can we please get these ice jugs out of the rain? We do not want them to thaw. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Thank you very much. And look at that. The garden is now looking much nicer. I did kind of like having the sort of rows of things, but just being able to plant more stuff in here is probably just better. And with the grass and the oats together, that'll be looking pretty nice. You know, they can work the headlands and then they can get to the oats in the middle. I guess it would be more of a thing. It's like, you know, when I doubt the developers are going to think of, like, you know, doing something like plows or something like that. Could be interesting. It'd give you another reason to have, like, you know, oxen and that. One thing I would really like is if they could implement the ability to castrate your animals. It's like, you know, so if you had multiple like male cows, then you could, like, you know, castrate them and use them as like steers and that for steers. Is that the right word? I'm thinking that's the right word for you know, just fattening up for meat. Because obviously cows are pretty hefty things to, you know, kind of keep, but they'd be good for the amount of meat that you provide. And in a sense, we could even potentially get rid of some of these chickens. If we can get to the point where we have a lot more cow, I would be more than willing to get rid of some of these additional animals. Like, I don't necessarily know if you need to have, like, both pigs and cattle at the same time. Pigs are nice to have for the meat production. But we don't necessarily have to have them if we also have cattle. And we can just fatten up a cow and then kill a cow every year. But pigs are also good because you can get a lot of them very, very quickly. I absolutely detest how many clothes are in here. Oh dear. It is awful how much hauling work we need to do. The point where we might even just get somebody in to do it. Like, obviously we still have a lot of work to do over here, but it's not too bad. Could certainly be worse. Unfortunately, this is still outside, because I would love to put somebody in here. I mean, potentially we even say, hey, let's just start making up a straw bed for somebody to go in there. At some point, these pantry shelves are done. That's great. We've got another pantry done. Wonderful. Yeah, things are really starting to take shape. In fact, I'd probably even say that they already were. You know, they have taken shape. Things are looking quite nice. Look at all the animals, you know, they're eating. They're at least able to, like, kind of not, you know, take as much of this grain as they need to while we have this bit here. Do we potentially go ahead and just take this area here? This could be like a really nice field area. Now, this would take a lot of stones in order to do, but it would, and we would have to get rid of this wildcat, but potentially that's just what we do. Like, we just get a really nice big area here. I think we could do that. We get rid of this wildcat den, and we build this nice big stone fence in the assumption that what we're going to do is we're going to have, like, our gates here, and we're going to have just a huge grass field here, you know. Clear out these trees, we'll clear out the ferns, all that kind of stuff, get rid of this rabbit hole, clear out the bushes over here, you know. Just clear this whole place out and keep this as like a sort of like grassland. The other question I suppose we have to worry or question ourselves is, do we till this land and then plant the grass, or do we just have it as wild grass? Because obviously, if once you sort of like till the land, it does improve the growth rate. You can see here that this the growth rate for, say, like this grass and stuff over here is much lower than the grass that we have here. Partially, of course, of that is because of fertilizer and access to moisture, and the fact that we're, you know, doing stuff with that. Sorry, people, I completely didn't see you were there. I was too busy on a tangent, so come in, please. Yeah, both of you come on in. It's late, but, you know, eat your fill. Come in, give us some money, please. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Yeah, you can have a wee drink, have something to eat. You know, basically just head straight to bed. You can always go for a nice bath in the morning. You've got your nice private rooms, you're well fed. Some of you in large rooms. Yeah, there we go, perfect. Lovely jubbly. And yeah, at least it's nice and warm in the majority of these areas here. But nothing to really worry about in terms of temperature. And the fact that we're kind of bringing in these, a lot of these toilets inside, I'm almost tempted to get rid of these little outhouses. Don't know how useful they are anymore. I suppose we have the question of what could we use these areas for, because there are very small buildings. I guess maybe like a covered crafting area. Apologies for that. Once again, the dog has decided to be part of the recording. But yes, as I was saying, like, we could potentially start opening this up, and this could be like a nice little crafting area. It's more just a question of for what. Potentially something that just needs to be covered, that doesn't necessarily need to be out in the open. I mean, I guess we could fit in something there and it wouldn't be as cold, certainly, as we come into another day of spring. Or we could just tear the whole thing down and just, you know, recoup the materials. There's nothing wrong with that either. Well, but we think it doesn't hurt having these extra poo areas anyway. Just means that, you know, people can like run along and just quickly grab it. There we go, everybody's having a nice time, getting nice and satisfied. They're liking their large rooms. Yeah, they're well fed. Good stuff. I do kind of wish they would congregate more around these kind of areas here. I mean, could we, I guess we could potentially add like a zone here. Yeah, so home zones. Yeah, so we could do it here. Home zones can be used to create separate homes or in larger villages. Yeah, so I guess we could like say, hey, this is like a new home zone. This is a home zone. And this is a home zone. So if you want to like do your needs, kind of do them in here. And yeah, there we go. So, yes, we could like add families. So we could add zone members to that if we want to. But I think we're alright for just now. We'll kind of have a wee think about is how we want to zone things in the future. Let's get these dry tiles out of the way. Oh, who we got? Anybody good at hauling? You're not good at hauling. You're not good at hauling either. You're both kind of disappointing in your own kind of ways. Alright, you know what? We'll grab Simon for now, and we'll say to him, hey, you ignore literally everything else. You are here to haul, and that is your job. You're here to haul. You're not here for anything else. You know, just come here and get things done. And I suppose, yeah, I guess the only issue with this area here for growing grass, it does flood a little bit. That is true, but if we can just kind of cordon this bit off, it should still be fine. Duncan's still traveling, that's fine. We haven't had any traders today, which is kind of interesting, but hopefully we will do in a bit. There we go, yep, Simon hauling away, that's good. Love to see that. Just want to try and get some of these tasks done, specifically the hauling tasks done. Still, obviously we still have plenty of building tasks to do, but the hauling tasks are really the ones that are the killer. And that's with, I mean, Margaret herself is pretty much a routine hauler, and even still, we're still struggling to keep up with just the sheer amount of stuff that needs to be kind of like moved about the place. People just leaving stuff about is probably the main killer there. Martin is at least able to kind of like, you know, I guess because this is cool, he's not able to kind of drop it off as easily. There we go, yes. Duncan, just start exploring the area first, please. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. And we can kind of have a little more look around on the land and see where we're going. Just so we can use those coins for steel working when the time comes. But yeah, we'll have Simon in for a little while. You know what? We'll give him his own room just to make sure he's nice and satisfied. That would be pretty good. I wonder if we do make it just like an area just for travelers as well. You could do yeah, it's something I was kind of talking about it earlier, but it would be nice if like sort of plows are implemented, horses were implemented, especially if there's going to be more like traveling on the overworld, so you could like bring stuff with you if you go out and trade, almost like a kind of RimWorld thing. It was always the thing about RimWorld that I was really interested in, just sort of like that nomadic play style more than like settling down somewhere, but it didn't really fit in with the game. Like obviously being able to like send out like convoys and stuff was always kind of cool. But I kind of felt that it was like harder than just, you know, building up a base, and or certain, maybe not even hard, maybe harder isn't the correct word, but certainly like the game didn't really want you to do it. I'm just gonna build 2 wardrobes in here because I need to get rid of these clothes. These clothes are annoying me at this point. You know, just having them all strewn about the place, I'm just not enjoying it. And I suppose that's one of the things why you want to have somebody on hauling, because you know you're gonna have loads of tasks where you're hauling stuff from like the various bits over here, like peat bogs and such like that. But if you have somebody on hauling, that's less likely to be an issue, and they're more likely that people are going to have time to actually, you know, pick up after themselves. And like have things in the stockpiles ready to go so you can craft things quicker, which means they can get their tasks done, which then means we can do more of the stuff that we actually need to do. We have an awful lot of harvest tasks to do, surprisingly, but I don't actually see... I guess it's all the peat stuff I've just added, of course. That'll be the harvest tasks that we need to do. And we do have a little bit of peat that's currently dry, which is good. I'm going to actually get ourselves another storage over here, so we'll get ourselves a nice little thatch roof. And we will pop ourselves down another peat storage as soon as I find it. Oh, it's dryer, pack. There we go, peat. Pop that down there, at least that we can use for this place here with its peat stove as well. But yeah, things are progressing quite well. I think we've had quite a pleasant start to spring. We haven't been struggling with food coming out of winter. With you guys, you know what, I'm actually going to tell you guys all to leave because I don't think we actually have a private room. Except for you, Margaret McFarlane, we'll keep you. I've kind of just said one thing and done another, but I think we'll give you this straw double beds that we can give one of you, because we obviously want to make sure that Simon is well satisfied, so he gives us plenty of reputation. Because we'll probably get him to leave before too long. Well, there'll probably be a worker that is better than him. Or, I certainly hope so. Yeah, there's going to be somebody who's better than him comes along soon. That'd be very, very nice. As far as our kids go, nobody's growing up anytime soon as well, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, Simon, you just have a nice old time. Get yourself some satisfaction. I wonder if it's potentially worth it, you know, like grabbing like maybe like one of the instrument storages and storing them like inside the houses, so that people can like, you know, play the instruments inside the house rather than having to go up to sort of like the communal area or going outside, so they stay warmer and they're a bit happier. Especially if it's in like one of the nicer, larger rooms. Like this area here, I feel like this is almost going to kind of be like our inn slash kind of, well, not inn, but certainly like our lodging kind of area. It certainly feels more like that than, you know, somewhere nice to stay, put it that way. But yeah, Simon should be getting pretty well satisfied just now. You know, his satisfaction is right to the roof. Should mean that we're able to get plenty of clan reputation when we eventually do get rid of him. And who knows, we might get him to stick around for a little while. We didn't really look at the rest of his stats. He can build a little bit, he can harvest okay. So, you know, I guess we could say, hey, you know, harvest before you repair. Concentrate on hauling, but when you're done, you know, just harvest some stuff or gather some stuff, and that can kind of be you. As we come on to another day of spring. Lovely. Yeah, overall things are going not too bad. We'll get this stone wall done, you know, when people get the chance, and then we'll kind of work out what we're going to do with this grass. We probably will till all this area just to, I mean, it feels kind of bad to do that before this grass is done, but if we want to actually get grass grown, probably the best idea. In that sense, let's, because this is like less grass than the other area, let's get this all tilled up just now. Will this be high priority? I think this actually is going to be high priority, so when people can get to it, that would be grand. Just means like today's not going to be a particularly productive day other than tilling that grass. Yeah, here we go. So let's turn off these grain troughs now. We do not need them. I think we're potentially out of hayseed, which wouldn't be great. We are indeed out of hayseed, and we're out of hay as well. So it's going to be a little bit of time before we can actually do this. Who's this? Janet? Are you good at hauling? You are not. Colin? You are very good at hauling. You can come along, son. So Simon... We'll keep Simon for like a day or two. Just keep him around. We'll buy you. We don't need to worry about logs. We will buy a queen because we are running out of cats, unfortunately. And we won't sell you baskets for just now. We'll just get you to go. Paul, what do you have for us? Some iron ore. We are running a bit low. Buy some nails. Never go wrong with nails. Some ingots, some berries. Got plenty of shears. Let's get some wool because, again, you can't go wrong with wool. And you know what? We will sell you the baskets just to get us a little bit more reputation with McFarlane. Now, Colin, we will hire you because you are going to be particularly useful, and we will actually give you this bed here rather than Simon. Simon will probably get rid of come the evening because we're just going to use him for his labor. Now, Colin, for your priorities, you are of course going to be hauling number one. That is what you're good at. That is what you're going to do for the rest of the foreseeable future. So enjoy your stay. You're going to be hauling. So yes, we'll till this all up, and then we will try when we can plant grass here, but as we say, I think we're out of grass seed, unfortunately. So we'll wait till they're done tilling that, and then we can plant the grass as soon as we can get the grass seed. It's just we're going to wait for the grass to grow for that, or we're going to wait for some traders to come. One of the two. Let's also make sure as well, before I forget, that we say, hey, let's say that animals are not allowed. Outside, let's move some of these. I'm very sorry, I didn't select the cow and then try and make a moo joke. That just kind of came out. But yeah, certainly we'll get rid of these animals for just now. Not that it's going to do anything. There's no barrier here, so they're just going to. There's no barrier to the warp spider, so they're just going to come through this wall and have fun with us. Unfortunately, let's get rid of these bluebells just because we can get some nice straw out of it. Good, good. And yeah, people can kind of work away on getting this land all done. Fortunately though, we will have some grass starting to come up because we do have some harvest here. Especially once we kind of like, you know, get the hay kind of sorted out. Let's make sure as well that we're just not feeding anybody these kind of areas here. Oh, I thought these bits had grass in them already. Maybe they didn't. Let's make sure that everything is planted with grass if we can. Mr. Clucker is not feeling particularly well, to be fair. I guess everybody here, they probably are the ones that do still need to be fed. There's just not that much grass for them to grab. So we'll keep them fed. We do at least have oat grains, so let's summon. And yeah, we can just collect this hay up now that we've got all of this done. I would actually quite like to raise the priority on this hauling bit. Apologies, that's my phone. Just because we should probably work on getting a lot of this stuff done, if at all possible. Yes, that would be much better. Now, as for this wall, the wall is nearly done. That's good. There's no animals that are being kind of left about. It seems like a lot of our tools are breaking as well. This is the bad side about having Duncan leaving us for the time being, is that he is not going to be around to help out with that. But never mind. At the very least, we've nearly completed the roof of this building. If we can complete the roof, then at least that's the majority of the work done. We can start moving some people in, especially like our workers. Simon actually is, he's not particularly satisfied anymore because he is well, I guess he's in the wet. I mean, I'm sorry, what did you expect? Oh no, it's raining in Scotland. Who could have dealt with it? And it's like the people, I mean, there's some people about where they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's raining again. It's like, it's always rained. There's nothing but rain. You're more surprised when the rain stops. But, you know. I guess if people aren't used to it, they aren't used to it. Yeah, I mean, personally, I've always kind of liked the rain. It always makes, especially it's like something, it's rainy and then the rain stops and you get that lovely, like, kind of earthy smell that kind of comes up. Really makes you kind of appreciate it in a way. Like, obviously it's like, oh sure, if you're getting wet, maybe not the best thing, but just wear a coat. I mean, I suppose for our worker here, Simon, I mean, if we let him go now, he's actually going to lose his reputation, at which point I would say, I mean, you're here to work, it's spring, it's going to be raining. Do you expect it not to be raining? Come on, let's not be silly. Right, yes, so I'm thinking we do a lot of grassland here. We'll wait for this grass to grow and this wall to be done, to be perfectly honest. Maybe we'll actually make that a higher priority. Because, I mean, at least with this grass here, we can keep this away from the animals. We'll put this a high priority to grow again, or to plant again, sorry, just so it is done. Because yes, now we have plenty of hay seeds, that's good. Actually, surprisingly, out of just grains in general. I guess while we're planting, it's going to go down quite a bit. As well, we do have an awful lot of sheep, you know, just kind of hanging about. Something we could potentially think about adding to these kind of areas here as well. I suppose if we wanted to, we could say, you know, at the edge of here, we could put 2 haystacks. In fact, that probably makes a lot of sense if we put like the haystack here and here, and then say like here and here. It means that we're not going to be able to use that for the grass, but at least means we'll be able to, like, you know, cut it down, collect it, and it'll be pretty easy to kind of bring it over to here, should we need to. But yeah, overall, things looking pretty good. Hopefully Simon's feeling a wee bit happier. He's got his own private room. You would think so. We've got some new baby sheep. That's good. Little lammies. Plenty of sheep now. Probably do not need to keep this many sheep. Have we got any elder sheep? You are nearly... you're nearly a senior, but we'll work that out in the next bit because, you know, fortunately at least we have the grass growing, so we'll be able to feed them that way. But yeah, with that is us halfway through spring of year 5 already. Duncan at least is on his way back, so we should be able to find out more about the world map. He should arrive some point next episode, and we can see what we're going to do from there. Still progressing with our house here, but with that and the new field and getting the growing done, I'm feeling pretty good. We should be alright. Things obviously about to thaw, because we're soon to be in summer next episode, at the end of it. So we're going to have to make sure we're on top of our food sources, potentially kill a couple of animals, just to keep that going. But yeah, overall, I just want to say big thank you to everyone watching. Hopefully you've been enjoying the episode so far. And big thank you to all the members of the Berg Band for supporting the channel and, you know, letting us get things going. Really do appreciate everything they do. If you do want to become a member of the Berg Band, suggest do it through YouTube. You know, for little as £1 a month, you can support the channel. It does really mean the world to me. It does really help, you know, with things going forward. And yeah, hopefully got some good things coming for Christmas. Just need to, you know, get the time together to do things. There are some things on my to-do list that I was kind of hoping things would be out for already, but never mind, we'll get around to it. But yeah, either way, I'm digressing. But yeah, just want to say big thank you for watching. Big thank you to all members of the Bergman. Until next time, take care.